Hello, everybody. Welcome to the What Do You Know podcast. What do you guys know? Tell me something.
Well, I think we have Fire Marshal Bill on, but I'm not sure. Oh, there he is.
It's right here. I've been burned 55 times, third degree. Oh, yes, I'm done. Shit.
Yeah, so we have Eric Stark today.
Hey.
Actually, yeah, we tried doing this a few times before. So this I'm going to call podcast number 2, even though it's number 6, but number 2. So that's where we're at here. We're going to execute it this time. So tell us a little about yourself, Eric. You, or Fire Marshal Bill, you are an A.O.D.A counselor, alcohol or drug addiction. You're in criminality or criminal behavior. Tell us how you got involved with that, and let's see where this goes.
So I'm actually not an A.O.D.A counselor. I'm a peer support specialist and cognitive behavioral specialist. So peer support specialist is just somebody with lived experience, right? So, and I have, 18 to 20 years experience with addiction. My particular drug of choice was heroin and cocaine. And then I'm also a cognitive behavioral specialist, which basically means that I teach people how to not be controlled by their emotions, if that makes sense. I work solely with people that are involved in the criminal justice system. The place that I work for, we don't take anybody that doesn't have an open case in court. So that's kind of where my specialty lies, is with criminal thinking and addiction. It tends to be that people that have addiction problems tend to be involved in the criminal justice system. And that was my case as well. I was a felon since I was 21 years old when I caught my first felony. And then actually last year, I got pardoned for my felonies.
Yep.
So I am no longer a felon.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, how do you help these people deal with these emotions and disconnect from them, or deal with the emotions?
Sure. Yeah, because it's not so much like disconnecting from the feeling. It's more of like stopping being controlled by it, right? And those tend to be the negative ones, right? And it's not so much like trying to build a robot, if that makes sense, as much as like trying to help somebody make better decisions, and that's done through like cognitive behavioral therapy, and people have a number of different ways of help themselves through it, right? But with that, like, it's a lot of like thinking things through before you act on them. That's just something that addicts and people that have criminal history tend not to do. If we really thought things through, we probably wouldn't have committed the crime, right? Because then I go to jail. If I'm like, well, I don't really want to do this time, and that's like the forefront of my mind, I'm probably not going to do it. So it's through practice, and there's many different techniques in doing that. Obviously, if somebody doesn't want the help, they just don't want the help, and there's not much that I'm going to be able to do. But even with just a minimal amount of desire, we can absolutely help with something like that.
I think, does it really just help when you show somebody, hey, somebody believes in you enough to give a shit? Is that really
Sure.
what gets them, going? Like, hey, if they believe in me, maybe I could believe in myself,
Yeah, no, absolutely. At the end of the day, if I don't believe in myself, it doesn't matter how many times somebody really says that to me. So the point is to try to get them to start believing in themselves through that practice, right? And then once they start changing, they see this, they start to see successes, right? They start to see that like living a life without these drugs, living a life without the criminal thinking, without my criminal associates, right? Whatever, what have you, um, that they start to see successes in their life, and they're like, okay, life is starting to get better, right? And even in the cases where they kind of, we have a lot of people that just wash out of the program, right?
Mhm.
But the hope is that you planted that seed in them, and then later on they'll remember a time when they did have that period of sobriety. And I'm an example of that, right? Like I went through drug court twice in my life. I call it the program so nice I needed it twice. Because I was a hard case, you know. I've been doing this for 7 years now, 6 or 7 years, and I still haven't met any client that was worse than I was, you know.
Well, I'm happy that you're here to do what you do for them, you know?
Thank you.
Definitely need people that give a shit. For real.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. The
that's
world tends to take us down, man.
that was like the end of the line for these people. And you're trying to rehabilitate them into, an honest living and staying away from the crime and this and that. The success rate is, what would you percent your rate at? Like your company, is it 50%? Like you can rehabilitate half the people, or
So I mean, it all depends, right? And that it varies from time to time. But I do know that before the company I work for existed, the recidivism, that's kind of their focus, is if anybody doesn't know what recidivism is, it's the likelihood of somebody reoffending, right?
yeah,
It's whether or not they reoffend in a certain amount of time that passes before they might reoffend.
yeah,
But we I believe the stat was we increased, or I'm sorry, we lowered it. We lowered recidivism, because recidivism is if you reoffend. It was a pretty high number. I think it was by like 30% or 40%, because before the help existed, the likelihood of it was ridiculous. I think with the DOC alone, the Department of Corrections, I think their recidivism was like 80% or something like that. There was an 80% chance that they would come back,
yeah.
which is bad.
Mhm. I have all sorts of notes written all over here. I was trying to like fake it so I could like look around, like, I'm just thinking and stuff, but
Well,
I have all these ideas, like the cognitive behavioral disorder, you know, uh, that gets pretty awesome to like identify negative thinking, and find the link between someone's thoughts, feelings, and actions, and pointing it out why and when it started in the first place. Everything can become an addiction. Was it peer pressure, stress, anxiety, chronic pain, self-doubt, depression, poverty, abusive relationships, or something
Sure.
else? And then the main thing is to like focus on the present. Can we deal with the current issues instead of dwelling on the past, acknowledging that, we had some shit that we have to be accountable for, but you got to take the first steps. And like you were saying before too, it's like it's different when you're being forced into it because you made some
Yeah.
stupid decisions,
Yeah.
compared to if you wanted to treat yourself. Like we could all be our own therapists.
Yeah.
In a way, like we know ourselves the best. Sometimes we overlook a lot of things that other people see that will help us grow and stuff. But like, what would someone do if they wanted to reach out and get help before any of the legal system? Like we've been there before, and we
Before
knew
the
we were
legal
going,
system gets
yeah,
involved.
we knew we were going down the wrong path. But
Sure.
you can try and get help, like methadone clinics, to Suboxone, to trying to get A.O.D.A help, and you need insurance to cover certain shit. Where would you
Sure.
start if you were in that case, Eric?
So, I mean, it all depends on what you're dealing with. But I mean, there is, especially in this day and age, there's so much more help than has been historically so, right? Like back when me and you guys, when we had our issues, there really wasn't a whole lot, right? I mean, they got all sorts of programs now, from MATs to rehabs to needle exchange programs, stuff like that. And if you just, all you really have to do is ask one of those people, wherever that is, even at the needle exchange. If you talk to that person that was there and said, "Hey, I'm really struggling with this. I want to stop," they're gonna point you in the right direction, right? What I always tell people that don't have any say really is to just go to detox. Go to detox, and if you talk to your counselor or whoever your doctor at detox, they'll set something up for you, and they'll literally make it so there's like a pathway to success, right? That, okay, you went to detox, now you go to rehab, now you go to outpatient, now you go to your halfway house, or while you're an outpatient, right? And this is over like a 3 month to 6 month long time.
Okay.
Right. And during that time, as I progress through my life, now I'm starting to work again. I'm starting to get a job. I'm doing these things that are bettering my life. Now I can afford to get my own place, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of sets you up for success, as opposed to when I was using, it was just kind of detox, and then you'd get through detox and leave.
Okay. And they just set you upon the world again with no future help,
right?
No structure.
Right. Yeah. So you'd get your couple days off of the street, which is great because I don't have the option while I'm in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if my environment it's kind of the same old story, right? If my environment is shit, then it doesn't matter how many good conversations I have with somebody. It doesn't matter what help I get, because at the end of the day, I go home and my surroundings are all awful, right? I'm gonna continue down that awful path.
Yep. Yeah, the people and places around us and the events that it's going to influence who we are and what happens in the future. Yeah.
It's all programming too. The subconscious mind is self-serving. If you can't convince the subconscious mind that there is something better for it, something that'll work better for it, and that it's actually possible, it will automatically not let you make that decision, because it's going to do what's considered a fight or flight response, and it's going to choose the easiest path.
Yes. Yeah. And if you're addicted to drugs, it's not even a theory anymore. It's science. We've done the brain studies. The part of your brain that is capable of making rational decisions is cut off.
Mm-hmm.
So in that aspect, it's literally you're just doing what your brain thinks it needs to do to survive,
which is chasing the dragon.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, for me, probably the best method was to do what I did. I mean, I've tried to get help. I had only certain options, and it's like cold turkey can be very helpful for some, and that lasted. I want to say it could have been more than a month and a half. Shit didn't go away, dude. All those bad symptoms. I remember the bricks that we used to lay out in the fucking toilet.
Yes.
That was pretty scary, dude.
The opiate shits.
That was scary, dude. Let alone all the other effects, dude, that came with it. It was just, I don't know if I'd ever wish that on anyone. However, maybe I would on some really, really bad people, because you start seeing a totally different way of viewing the world, and you're asking for help. You need help. So maybe Osama bin Laden, you could have been on that list. But hey, who knows,
Well, I think that and that's what's great about, cognitive behavioral therapy and shadow work and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Tell us about shadow work.
Oh, you don't know about shadow work?
I do a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. But why don't you
facing
go
your
depth?
fears?
Yeah. So shadow work was invented by Jung. He was the psychologist back with Freud, and it was I think it was going back and forth on.
Freud?
Say it again.
Sigmund Freud?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was going back and forth on who was a better psychologist or whatever. But
Yeah.
now they're coming to find that that Jung had a lot of validity in the things that he was saying, which people didn't really believe. But shadow work is a way of understanding that bad isn't always bad, if that makes sense.
Yep.
That sometimes, most of the time, I would say, pain or anger or sadness or whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever it is that you're going through, is one of the greatest teachers, right? So, like, my experience in life, some of the worst things that ever happened to me in my life were the best things that ever happened to me. And I didn't know that at the time. At the time, I wanted to kill myself, because of these awful circumstances, right? And the things that I was going through. But I literally needed that pain to get me out. I needed to go through all of that, because if had I not, I'd still be out there using. I'd probably be dead or in prison, So a lot of times it's, I think, especially in this day and age that we live in, we're very interested in minimizing pain, trying to make things easier just for the sake of making things easy. And we completely negate the hard work and effort that it takes to succeed, right? And when we do that, we're really not learning anything, right? We're just learning I have an easy way out. And it comes with, and that's addiction in a nutshell, right? You got something wrong with you. Okay. You're not feeling good. Here's a pill.
Yep.
You got chronic pain. Here's a pill. Well, the fucking problem with that is that opiates are fucking terrible for long-term pain. Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It fucks your brain up, and where you won't feel it the way that you would have before. So it's lowering your threshold of pain, right?
Yep. 100%, man.
I think there's a reason to have the negatives. It informs us that that's what we don't want. Like you said too, you learn from that. For the most part, I hold on to the positives, maybe more, just because I think it's healthier for me. I think about all my friends and family, life experiences and accomplishments, music, art, the communication, travel, nature, animals. The list goes on and on and on. But I'm just really thankful that us three, especially, are here. Like, we overcame the opiate. Like, we were deep into that, and then you move to the harder shit, and it's like, so again, for me, methadone worked. You and I met each other once again at the methadone clinic, Eric, and it was like, oh, holy shit, But it was like, I'm focused. I want to get off this shit. I think it was like December 24th, 2017 or something. And it was like, I don't care what they say.
I'm done.
I want to go down 5 milligrams every 2 days.
Yep.
I don't give a shit. Just do it. And it worked. So Vince, for you, how did that work for you? What did you do? What was your method?
I had aliens come down from space.
Fuck yeah, put a probe up your butthole.
They came down and they were like, "We'll hook you up." I was like, "All right, I'm cool with that." Shit.
Some space junk, yeah.
Where do you insert?
Where do you insert?
Find an orifice. We love orifices.
But so that is kind of like part of the story. But I gotta admit, marijuana did help. But
yes.
I had a soul activation, DNA activation. I don't know if it was brainwashing or if it was something real, or if it was placebo or what. But I had this very nice lady by the name of Elizabeth April post a video, and I watched it. And after that, I stopped doing opiates.
Buddy.
And the thing that's weird about it is I never went back. It's just stopped doing it. I think it's because in the video it gave me a sense of purpose, a sense of some of who I am and something to live for. And that was also slightly after I had a up close UFO encounter.
Yep.
And I've been painting aliens ever since. So yeah, the aliens came and saved me. They're like, here, just draw us for a while, and you won't think about no drugs. And I didn't, because I was like, woohoo, I'm painting some cool shit. And then people was liking it. So yeah, art is what saved me. The aliens came down and they probed my mind with art.
Yep. That's awesome.
That's it's really cool that you said that too, because and this is talked about a lot in like the addiction field in particular, is that this is like, there's an old way of thinking that addicts, criminals, all these people have no morals, right? And that's the problem, right? But the reality is that they do, and they're not living by them, and that's why they have these bad issues, right? Because I'm not living by my morals, because I can't, right, at this time. And what you were talking about with the sense of purpose, that's what you need. You know, if you are struggling with it, like, we don't become addicts because everything's going well in life, right? We become addicts because things are bad and we don't have that sense of purpose. You know, when I found a sense of purpose for me, I didn't have any worries about that anymore. Like, I knew that I was done, you know, and I would never go back. And every year it's the same, right? Now my thing, and I don't knock it any way that anybody does it. I don't care how you do it,
Right.
you know? But I just don't do anything. I do my zins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I do my caffeine.
I thought you switched to the on, because Zins are a little more.
I did, but they started fucking up my gums.
Well, the Zins do that more for me.
No, I thought the Zins are way easier on my gums.
I think the ons are softer, but okay.
I've done completely sober for years too. But
okay.
I just find out that marijuana once in a while can help you a little bit
Sure,
with a little bit of caffeine. But as long as you don't get addicted to it, because it is highly addictive these days.
Makes me paranoid, man.
Sometimes it does.
Really bad. Maybe I just got too many demons. I don't know.
Yeah, we all have crutches. I mean, what's a healthier crutch? You know, you fight back fucking twofold, threefold, whatever, combat the shit, make healthier habits, make it up to yourself for all the times you fucked up. Care about yourself more, you know, to care about your health and how your words and actions affect the people around you, and focus on what you want to stand for.
Absolutely.
And that's where we're at here. And it's like, so we have this new opportunity that, what are we going to do with it? So it's just really nice to know that we have the capability of just asking someone for help. Now, some of these addicts, they don't have phones. Maybe they have government phones if they went through that type of stuff. But like right now too, it's like, I'm thinking not just about addiction. I'm also thinking about, it's fucking cold out there.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about like the homeless 15. Shelters and shit. And like, do they have enough room for the homeless people that don't have a place to go to? Like, you can go to libraries, but you can only stay there so long. You can go on a bus, right?
Sure.
But you can only stay there so long. So tell me about like the shelters and stuff. I've never had that experience. Like, what is that like?
Well, I mean, I've lived there. It depends on where you go, really. I don't want to say any names in particular, because I have good things and bad things, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not the greatest.
No.
It's not the greatest. It keeps you alive, like, great, you know, gives you somewhere to sleep at night and stuff, you know, but I just it was not a good time in my life when I was staying at a homeless shelter, you know, especially because of the one that I was at. Now there's other ones, right, that that really help you get ahead in life, right, where you're living in kind of a dorm setting, where you have a room with a roommate and stuff like that, right? But for the most part, it just kind of keeps you stuck and miserable in that life of homelessness, you know. There's warming shelters all around the city of Milwaukee. If you just Google them, there's warming shelters for people that don't have a house or a place to be. Yeah, it's like -15 right now.
Yeah. Let's
Um,
just say you
Hopefully they
didn't.
have a
Oh,
guitar in that building.
probably
what?
not, but
Said
maybe.
I hope they have a guitar in them buildings.
No, probably not.
Nah.
They should at least
Um,
have an old piano or something where people can jam.
some of these people, they don't have a cell phone, so it's like it's difficult
Right.
for them to even understand where to go and get help. I mean, I guess you probably wouldn't want to if you're in that case, but go to a police station. You could probably again go to the library. You could
Yeah.
go to some kind of community center. They're going to
Yeah.
help try and assist you and to try and to find the right place, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the places have waiting lists, for the nicer shelters.
Hmm.
You're gonna have to wait, and it all depends on. No, I'm just talking about the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're outside of that city, and especially if you're in a small town like Vince up by you, there's
Hmm.
probably very little, right?
Right.
It
I
all
I
depends on
gotta
where you
say
live.
it's pretty nice up here. I can't complain.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
It's
But I'm
pretty
saying
nice.
for like homelessness and
Homeless
stuff like
people.
that, there's
Yeah.
probably not as much help because you guys probably don't have as big
It's
of a
Milwaukee.
problem with that.
Let's talk about some old music stuff. So, Eric, do you remember some of the first times that you started jamming?
Ever?
Yeah.
Sure, sure. Oh
Was it
yeah.
you had an acoustic guitar or
So I actually started off playing the cello in like third
really?
grade,
I did not know that.
and then I saw Kurt Cobain,
Oh shit. You're like,
and it was over.
yeah,
I said, "Oh yeah, guitar," you know.
yeah.
And my dad was really really good,
Hmm.
a really good guitarist, and I don't know, I just never really he never played around me or anything like that. But it was besides from every once in a while. But he had an old band and shit like that. So
Yeah.
then he got me a guitar and I started taking some lessons, and I don't know, I just wasn't very interested in like learning the scales and stuff like that.
And Mary,
So then
Mary had
I
a little
started.
lamb.
No, like the pentatonic scales and all that stuff, which is
Okay.
why I'm not very good at, lead guitar.
Yeah. Okay.
I can do the rhythm, but I can't do lead very well. But yeah, I started, jamming on the guitar, learning songs, and then eventually linked up with Sky. And at that time, we were really into Corn.
You were.
I
Yeah,
was, yeah,
and
I
I
was.
started learning who it was. Like I think the first song I learned on the drums was Blind.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No kidding,
But,
no kidding.
keep going. Yep.
So I think, and then we started a band, you and Fromling, right?
Yep.
Yep. And then there was the embarrassing show.
I remember.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
because
wasn't
Kevin was
it like
playing the guitar, right?
wasn't
Or
it at
John?
like a oh no, that was another one. No, there was a
John
coffee
didn't. He
show.
sat down, didn't he?
There was a coffee show first that we played. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't remember that.
That was a flop. And then you're talking about Hallowed Grounds, which was at Worth Park.
Yeah,
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 and Kevin sat out
yeah.
and
And
you were having trouble with the microphone. I had no idea what I was playing on the drums, but yeah,
yes,
I think we tried to play Blind and shit.
we tried to play Twist,
Oh, Twist, yeah. Okay.
and it was awful. But I mean,
Oh
we were
yeah,
just
for sure.
kids,
It was fun as fuck. I actually still have that flyer.
Really?
Yeah, it was right around Halloween too. So yeah, it was
Yeah,
Hallowed
yeah,
Grounds or something. It was cool. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
then
that I think
after
that
that,
started the precedence for like embarrassment and being apprehensive about being able to play shows and shit
being
like
on the
that for
spot.
me.
Yep.
But then then me and you,
Then
Sky.
Vince.
Well, first we started Element, me and you, right?
Yeah, 2001 or two. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that went good. There was some good songs there, but there's some embarrassing fucking
There
songs.
are definitely, dude. Yeah, it's kind of corny, and we were using
Yeah,
Fruity
I
Loops,
never want
so
people
it's
to
like
hear ever.
I put it all up.
I'm sure
It's
you
all
did. You
on the
did.
site. It's
I
all
sure
on the
did.
website.
Yep, it is. Yep. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, dude. Let's just put this shit out there.
Sure.
And because
Well,
there's
it was.
actually some good gems in there in like
Yeah.
parts of it, but also it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You could do
It was
so
good
much
for the
better.
time, right? Like
Yeah, it was cool.
and it was us creating new stuff, right? Original
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
we linked up with Vince and we started that band. And that
Yep.
was actually, I think we got better when it
Yeah.
was me and you and Vince and Neil.
I do too, and I have some footage in which I've shared on Facebook and stuff, as well as obviously you guys too.
Yeah.
That was a really strong, memorable time to
Yeah.
help grow, because now we're doing it together. We're doing it in a live session. We're improvising, and that
Right.
helped the process grow tremendously. And then like the recording, like then we did Sanctimonious after that. That was one
Right.
of our better ones.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Sanctimonious
really
still,
good.
when I listen to it, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. I think the best time that I ever had jamming was when it was in your basement.
Which place?
That
On
was
When
pretty
you
awesome.
lived on
91st Street or
92nd
something?
in
Yeah,
Lisbon.
over there. Yeah. Yep.
That was my favorite. And then, of course, jamming in my basement too, when
Yep.
we get the cops called on us all the time.
Yeah, we would. But we got away with a lot of shit too. You
Yeah.
know, those are all amazing times. And then, yeah, Neil, he came in, started playing bass. I remember there's this one time, I think Vince, you had like sent some of your friends over or something like that to check us out, and we started playing a couple songs that I think that I kind of wrote, like "I Wait Now" and some other ones, and after we like played them, they were totally silent. Like you could see like they were like deer in headlights, and I like to think to myself, I'm like, that was a compliment. Like they didn't know, almost like a birth of a new Nirvana or some shit like that is kind of how I want to hold on to that thought. Otherwise, they might have been like, these fucking guys suck.
The fuck? This is terrible.
They're-
I always looked up to you guys. I was just trying to like pretend I knew what I was doing, you know? I think that's what we were all doing though, really.
Yes.
yeah,
100%. We did
yeah.
not.
Plus, we were really addicted to drugs, and like, I
All
mean,
bad.
yeah, we were
Well,
just
you guys were two different styles too. I came from like rap and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, you
And
did.
you were like death metal and he was like the hippies from the 70s or 60s.
Right.
Yep. Exactly, dude. Yeah, you got that pigeonholed right there.
Yeah.
Vince, remember that time we were just talking about? Both you and I kind of want to share that. So my dad approached me, and he was like, "You need to." I'm gonna blow myself up here. Hi. You need to sign up for this Rockstar project. It's like American Idol, but it's for Wisconsin
I
exclusively.
remember that.
I just remember it was me, you, and your girlfriend in my Trans Am. It was an 87 Trans Am GTA with the 5 speed, with the 305 multi port fuel injection with the rear end gear in it. And so I just put some brand new glass pack pipes on it. And we pull up. This is right downtown Milwaukee, you know, the busy street, just people everywhere. We pull up and I pull past a parking lot. I'm like, oh fuck, I
You
missed their
missed it.
turn.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh well, I'll just rev it up and do a big ass burnout U-turn, you know? So like, as I'm in the middle of my swing, I come past the building and I see there's a cop sitting right there as I'm doing this. Oh shit! Let's slowed it down, went over and parked. Next thing you know, we're walking back up to the same building right in front where the cop is. He walks up to us. So you always drive like that? I was like, nope, nope, I don't. I catch you doing that again, that's gonna be a ticket. I was like, thank you, officer. Promise I won't be doing that again.
Yeah. Imagine like if he gave us a ticket or arrested us or something like that when we're trying to do that. He was cool enough to let us go. And
Well,
we went into the competition room, and like you said, Vince, there was tons of people. Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
was like cattle. Like they put a little brand on you, your number, you keep waiting in line, and the emotions and the fucking anxiety and shit keeps building up. You get put in this tiny, tiny little office room, and now you got to sing a cappella. You got to sing a cappella in front of a bunch of people, and it was just awkward as fuck. Vince, you did some in sync, right before me, and then I did probably the Doors or something like Touch Me or some shit like that. And then they were polite enough to allow us to go to the next step or whatever. So then keep waiting in line, and then you get on stage, and there's like fucking there's a whole panel of judges. There's cameras all over the place. I think Fox 6 or Channel 4 or some shit was there too, recording everything, and it was very eye-opening. I remember
Do
I
you
made the mistake of, do I need to stand on this X?
do you remember
And then
what
I
song
did.
you sang?
Yeah. I was like, do I need to stand on this X? And I was gonna do, which I did. I would love to see the footage, but I've never seen it. But it was 5-1 by the Doors. I shouldn't have asked for permission. I should have fucking owned that shit. But again, it was like the beginning of just trying to like understand how the whole process goes, and like if you're gonna do that, you need to kind of own it, but don't own it too much. As we've seen other people, it's like you're too confident, it's not working. If you aren't confident enough, it's not going to work either. So it's like some kind of happy medium, but it takes
It's
practice. So
well, you guys probably all know, but when you're in that moment, them
hmm
nerves take over. You know,
Oh,
you're like,
fuck
yeah.
yeah, man.
how do I deal with this? How do I turn this anxiety into excitement? And then,
Terrifying.
it is.
yeah, but then you
Well,
get over it.
and that was like when it was still about like being talented. Now it's like mostly about your sob story and those things, right? Like I
hmm
have I have cancer and my dog is dead and my
yeah,
I'm homeless and I
you
oh you
pass.
want you
You're going to Las Vegas.
You
Yeah,
you're
win
going to
five
Las
hundred
Vegas.
thousand dollars.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
American Idol. Yeah, I don't watch that show. Yeah, no.
I remember the song I sang.
Which
It
one?
was "I Want You Back." I think it was by NSYNC.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you had the voice for it, dude. You still do.
Yeah,
There's a certain method to that kind of genre. So, Eric, you were in a corn. Yep.
I was.
Pantera, Hatebreed.
I was fully
Chevelle.
convinced that I'd be 80 years old still loving all those bands and I do
Yeah.
not.
Isn't it weird? Like you look back and you're like, shit. Metallica
Yeah.
still works for me. Pantera does as well too, at
Yeah.
certain points too. Yeah.
Corn not so much anymore.
Not so much, but still, they had some kind of flair to them that
Yeah.
is intriguing. Yeah, I mean, you can never tell
It's
what the bassist is playing, but that's okay.
yeah. I think
I
it's
seem
just
to have gotten
I
lost.
don't have the anger anymore.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, that's a
I
huge
used to be
part.
very angry all the time at all the
Mm-hmm.
shit. You know, um,
Yeah,
I mean, none of us have had a perfect life, but I was just kind of angry at the way that life had gone for me, and
yep,
it was a perfect outlet was corn. You know, for the stuff that I had been going through. Um,
yeah.
but once
Didn't
I healed from that and learned from that, I mean, I listen to Pink Floyd and Tool now. Perfect
mm-hmm,
Circle, Pussifer, you know.
Pussifer. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. You're always sending me stuff from Pussifer.
I
That's
like.
definitely what
I just like to
bands?
make my own music with Suno, just because I get to control every word. You know,
yeah,
I think it's very important the programming behind the music you listen to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using that to my advantage to subconsciously program myself all day as I navigate my day, and I think it
Yeah.
works pretty good.
awesome.
Yep. Yep. For
I wish
sure.
I
Like
could, man. When I got sober, I lost my fucking creativity musically.
yeah.
I don't know
Well,
what it
with
was. I just
Suno,
couldn't.
with Suno, it's easy. You just press record. You spit out a thought. Today's going to be a great day. I know it is because blah 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 blah. Boop! It makes you a song, just
Yeah.
like that. It's
Really?
so easy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
it's a way
Yeah.
to make music without actually having to fucking spend
Make
time.
music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's putting your thought into music, which is
Okay.
really
Oh, is it
awesome.
AI?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Sorry. I hate AI.
There's certain
I hate it.
characteristics that are you have to go with it. Like at some point we're all going to be plugged into like an augmented reality, fine tuning our avatars for you to see like how I want you to see me. We're going to be
Yeah.
wearing some crazy goggles and shit like that. It's going to be fucking crazy.
it's just it's a skill set to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Most people don't have time in the day to sit down and write down and make their own song. So they're not writing their own program. They're, they call it spelling for a reason, because words cast spells. They
Right.
program the mind.
Yep.
That's why if you have the ability to use an AI or a tool like this to make enjoyable music that you can listen to all day long in less than 2 minutes, 3 minutes with just a simple thought, it's really quite valuable if you know how to use it as an actual tool.
Yeah. And I respect that and the process and people that are doing that to help themselves. I also respect the process of everything and like actually having to do it too. So it's strange, but again,
I
it's a new
definitely,
tool and we
I
don't know how
definitely
to.
love the jam too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Well, I think
like,
just in general, right? Like, I mean, there's advantages, right?
mhm,
I use Chat GPT to analyze something. I ask,
sure.
something's wrong with my car. These are the symptoms. Um, my check engine light is on and idle is weird. Well,
Yep.
these are the possible solutions, right? This is like I can use it like that, but for the most part, like for creativity, it's really and I would say for like critical thinking, it's bad because it's taking that completely out of the equation where you don't have to do the process anymore, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
You just get to put a few words in there and then bang,
Reap the rewards
and
right away. Yeah.
me and you were talking about that yesterday, Sky, that I feel like figuring things out for yourself is really one of the only true freedoms we have in the world. And I think eventually, like AI will just completely rob us of that. We don't have to think for ourselves anymore. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yep.
so
Exactly.
it's there's danger in it too. There's
Mhm.
that's why I don't mean to shit on anybody's
Right.
thing, but like I don't like it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that either.
yeah.
Everybody's got their own path. But I
So
just,
Yep.
if I see a tool and it makes my life better, I might as well use it. That's the way I look at it.
sure. Yeah.
Use it and make it your own. Like I've been, wanting to help you on your path too, Vince, is using that because you jam. You play the drums, you play the guitar, you play the keyboard, you sing. You do all these things, and to actually breathe soul into your creation is more important to me than it is to have an app just do it and you get the rewards right away without you having to like do the process or to do the work itself. However, the important part is how it makes you feel. And if you love doing it, who the fuck am I to say or shit on your parade as well too? It's like
Well,
if it's working for you,
it's
good,
the
man.
thing of it
I'm
is, there's
glad.
so many people that don't have the capability of making their own music, but they have a thought that they would like to put out
Mhm.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
You
don't
know what I
have
mean?
the instruments and shit like that.
Or they
sure.
just don't even know how to do it, but they have a thought they'd like to share,
Yeah.
and it's just a
Yep.
tool.
Yeah,
Yep. It
that's
is.
cool.
Yep. It
I
is
can see
cool.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, well, we're going on 46 minutes. I think what I would like to also ask you is the Sam Squatch watch, Sam Squatch. You want to tell us about your little story here?
Sure. So,
Yeah.
and it's just weird how the mind works. That like, my memory of it today is different than when it first
Hmm.
happened. And it's been some time. But and again, I always pretext this with I don't know because I never actually saw. Right, but every year I go to the Boundary Waters in northern Minnesota. It's right on the border of Canada and Minnesota, and it's the Superior National Forest. So it's a national park. We all know like all the stories of things happening in these national parks and stuff, and they're vast. They're vast. You know, thousands of miles of just forest, and that's what it is up here. Um, there's it's the Boundary Waters canoe area, right? And in these areas, you can only take a canoe. You can't take a motor. You can't have a motor on the lakes, and there's no access. You have to portage over these trails, right? And the only way in is via this trail, and the only way out is via this trail. And the rest is just thick forest, right? So I was up there for a week with a buddy of mine, and we had gotten to our campsite, and we took off in the canoes. We went fishing for some walleye. We had caught a few, and then we went back to the campsite, and he said, "I'm going to lay down," and he went into the tent and laid down, and I was like, "Well, I'm going to go fish from shore for a bit." So I'm sitting there fishing, and again, the only way in and the only way out is these portage trails, and the one that was leading in to where we were was way on the other side of the lake, and the one leading out was on the other way end of the lake. So all this in between is all forest. It's thick forest, and I'm sitting there casting and fishing, and a fucking huge rock, almost boulder size. It was at least as big as my head, I would put it, came flying out of the forest, flying out and landed about 30 feet out into the lake. And I was like, what the fuck? So I ran over to the tent where my buddy is, he was napping, and I woke him up. So I know it wasn't him. But I never got to see it. I never heard anything after it. There was no crashing around in the woods or anything. Mm-hmm. And I'm a rational person. I'm not fucking nuts like that, but my take on it is, okay, what animal is capable of doing that? Okay, a human. Wow. If it was a human, they'd have to be some fucking weirdo just sitting out in the woods, right?
Brock Lesnar out there throwing rocks and shit.
Right. Yeah, and they'd have to be extremely strong to throw it that far. I couldn't throw it that far.
Right.
So but the issue is I never got to see, it came out of the woods, which were so thick that there was no walking over there. There was no, going to look. The other option that I've been told and that have been brought up to me is a beaver. So beavers have a way of, and I've seen it before. I do this every year. When they get pissed off or they're marking their territory or whatever, they slap their tail on the water. But my rebuttal to that is, well, first of all, I saw the fucking thing fly out, and it was not like, I know the difference, right? When a beaver smacks its tail, it smacks. It doesn't go kerplunk, right? And this was like,
like an angry beaver, like a pregnant lady. Kapoof! Shit popped right out.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's just basically the full story on it. And I mean, I'm not saying it was, but I'm also not saying it wasn't, because I don't know. I never got to saw it. I never got to see it. So it sucks that I never got to see it, because I've been kind of like, I still watch the shows on that shit all the time, man.
Have you ever tried to meditate on it?
Not a big meditator. So no.
Okay.
I am not.
And you're tempted to go back to the same place too?
I've gone back. Okay. I went back last year to the same area. And it was weird. When I went back there, it was completely different. But there was more people when I went back last year, because that's kind of what's happening up there. Is more and more people are knowing about it, so more and more people are coming back. But the local wildlife is only black bears, moose, wolves, and little things, bobcats, birds, grouse, stuff Sasquatch. Like that. Well, what else is capable of doing that,
Yeah.
My
Yeah, I can't.
mom's boyfriend said he's seen a Sasquatch running down Highway 80 or down here in Marshfield carrying a deer up on his shoulder, just
Holy shit.
hiking down the road. But, well, that's just a story, I guess. He could be
And
telling the truth, though.
maybe someone wore a costume to try and go
Yeah.
fucking, go
That,
viral or something.
thinking about that, man, if somebody's doing that, that's really dumb.
It is pretty
Because
crazy. Yeah,
it's a
you
good
could
way to
get
get shot.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I really want to prove this is right. This is real.
Mhm.
Shoot the fucking
You
thing,
feel threatened and shit,
fuck, it's
or
a guy in a gorilla suit.
Yep,
Well, a
exactly.
lot of people say that Sasquatch sightings are actually aliens that they're sighting, kind of
Yeah.
like
I've heard that.
Star
Me
Wars,
too.
but or interdimensional beings. Because a lot of
Right.
UFOs have been reported at the same time that they have
Right.
sightings of these
Yeah, they can
these hairy
disappear.
guys.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I was always hoping to see up there, man, because you can really see the stars up there. And
I
you
bet.
can, like, we go up every year, and now because I'm getting older, we're starting to do the cabin route where you can have, there's a chain of lakes that you can have a boat with a motor on it, but it's so up north. I mean, it's literally right on the border of Canada. I mean, it's 30-minute boat ride and you're in Canada. And the one night I wanted to go out night fishing, and they just said, well, just be careful, bring your lights and stuff like that. So I went out by myself, and dark came. And when I tell you it was so dark, and I'm sitting there on this boat fishing and looking up at the stars, and you can, in your mind, you just imagine this UFO coming down.
Mhm.
It's hard not to think shit like that. And then I hear this squeaking, I'm like, what the fuck? And then I put my lamp on, I look around, it's fucking bats. So I'm like, fuck this, I'm out of here. you know? And I had to find my way. It was so dark, I couldn't see anything. And I'm maybe 45 minutes away from the cabin by myself at dark, trying to get back on a motorboat. So I had to put my headlamp on, trying to like hug the shore and keep the lights on. And then when I got service, I had to use Google Maps to get back home by myself. Like, it's just so dark out there. And like, I don't know, I've always hoped to be able to see something like that up there, because if I'm gonna see it, it's probably gonna be up there, right? But never, alas.
Yeah. Wow. Maybe someday you will.
Yeah, I see. I look up in the sky quite a lot, and I walk a lot all day, all night. So like, I see stuff moving around all the time. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool once you do
Mhm.
see it, and you're like, well, that could be a plane, and then you're like, well, okay, now it just turned and it stopped and it went the other direction. So it's not a plane anymore. Maybe a
Right.
drone or something, but
Yep.
yeah, there's always
You
stuff
know,
up there if you look long enough.
sure. You know what's crazy, man, is there, like, I was watching this documentary on it, and like a lot of that stuff around New Mexico, Area 51 and stuff like that,
Mhm. Which we
like the
were right
government
next
has
to.
fully
Remember that?
admitted it now with the Freedom of Information Act and shit.
Mhm.
That a lot of what people were seeing was advanced
Technology from the government.
aircraft
Yeah.
from us.
Yeah. Remember going next to that with my grandma in Nevada?
Yeah,
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 and she was like, right over there's Area
it's
51, and there
crazy,
are all the
man.
signs and shit saying, "Do not trespass." You may be shot, type shit.
You guys
Right.
probably were abducted. You didn't even know it. You probably have alien implants. Did you check your butt when you got back?
No,
I have one on my back. Yeah,
Oh
it
shit!
could be. It might be a cyst too, but
I'm just kidding.
uh,
I've
yeah,
always
dude,
wanted to go there though.
yeah,
it's cool. I mean, it's very, like,
desolate.
yes,
There's like
there's
nothing
nothing.
there. Even like
Yeah,
there's like we couldn't even find any lizards. The only thing that we found, remember this, was I had a rental car, and I still have the film. I'd never developed. I don't know if it's good anymore, but we saw these wild ass in the
the
fucking road.
donkeys.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
burros. It's this wild ass running all around, you know, and it's like
They're
people are
mean.
taking pictures and shit. And I was like, dude, let's get closer. So I pull up closer, and this one fucking jackass, fucking donkey, puts his head in the vehicle on Eric's side, right in front of his face. And another donkey then comes over, and they start fighting. And the only thing I could think of was like, don't fucking kick the car, you know. But it's like
I don't have
I'm sure
insurance on this.
yeah, well, I think I did, but it was like, don't wreck it. But like, I'm sure you could have smelt that thing's breath. It was that
Yeah, they're
close.
mean fuckers. They bite you.
I'm glad it didn't bite your nose off. Yeah.
Right. That's the Saigon whore that bit my nose off.
Fucking jackass.
Yeah. Yeah, you look like the dude from Fallout. You
That's a
guys
good
watch
show,
that show?
dude.
Fuck yeah, it's fucking good. I know,
Really
Vince, you don't
good.
quite watch too much film or whatever, but that's actually a pretty good one. I think a lot of it is like kind of conditioning us to understand like what we could do if there was a zombie apocalypse, what other people did, and you're
Well,
like,
it's
you
not really
stupid
about
idiot.
zombies. That one.
Well, zombies, well, that was one. You know, we got aliens too, you know, so we have nuclear wars, we have apocalyptic times. I mean, like all this is kind of conditioning us into a sense of trying to understand maybe what we could do. But even if you did take the precautions, you could have your huge storage of water and what are those food packages called from the military?
MREs.
MRA, you could have all that. You could have a generator and stuff, but when the
Oh yeah,
neighbors
you're
know
done.
that you have this stuff, they're just gonna
Then
take
the
it.
Terminator comes and terminates your ass.
Could be.
Pow, 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 pow,
Yep.
pow, pow.
Yeah.
Just
So,
kidding. He doesn't want your water.
yeah. Well, no, I don't think he does. He wants the power, but also
Well,
water.
if something
Powers.
like the reality of it, if
Power.
something like that happened, we'd all be fucked, man.
Yeah, we would. Yeah. You just turn
And
the
They turn off
society
lights
my
off.
would
phone.
like,
I'm going through withdrawals instantly.
right.
They got me. Ah!
You turn the power off, we're all fucked. Yeah, you turn the
Society
banks,
would
the banks would
100%
just
turn
part.
on each other. It'd be
You're
horrible.
fucked. We are fucked.
Remember when we ran out of fucking toilet paper? For Christ's sake,
Yeah, I do.
you know.
Yeah, that was weird, man. Yeah, that was really weird.
I bet bidet sales went up that day.
Yeah,
I couldn't buy wipes for my kid because fucking everybody bought the wipes out.
yeah. Wow.
That was
Yeah,
crazy.
that was weird, man. Yeah. It really opened our eyes to 2020 seeing vision.
Yeah.
It's a total
Was
new
like, what the
name to a
fuck?
wipeout sale.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Tell me what your next thought will be.
Now, get him out.
I don't know.
Exactly.
That's a thought.
Nobody
That's
does.
a thought right there. I don't know. What do you know?
Exactly. That's not predicting what his next thought will be. That is his next thought.
Well, sometimes, hold on. Let me say something real quick.
There's no way you can possibly predict your next thought with a thought.
when
Yeah.
you
So
when you
where's
when
the
you give
choice?
when you give yourself a little time to not respond, you're already thinking. So if you just respond without giving yourself that time, you're actually saying something that maybe you didn't think you were going to think, and it's just channeling out. But
Yeah.
if you sit there and ponder for a second, and the longer you do, you know you're already formulating shit as you are right now.
But
Yeah.
to just pick your next thought is impossible. It's a
Listen.
random received thought.
Right. I tell dude, it's funny that we're talking about that too, because I tell people when people that I'm working with a lot of times, like there's in my groups, there's sometimes where it's like, man, I gotta write down like, 15 thoughts that I had in this situation. They're like, well, I can't remember having. Do you know, dude, the average human being has over 10,000 thoughts on average per day.
Per day.
And
Yeah.
you can never turn your brain off. And I
I
always
heard
say
it
to
was
them,
more. I heard it was more like 70 to 80,000.
probably
Maybe that's
way more.
including sleep,
Yeah.
which is about 8 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
So and then I asked them, don't think right now. Do it right now. Don't think.
I'm not.
Are you thinking about not thinking?
No, I just actually let it go to where there was nothing, but it only can last so long until
Well,
someone
maybe
else
a
talks or you
millisecond.
give yourself.
Sure.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah,
But it worked.
But the
But my
second
whole-
that you know, it doesn't have to always be a particular thing. Like you can't turn your brain off. If you did that, you'd be
Right.
dead. You just
Yep.
can't.
My
You
whole
know?
thing though is if you can't predict your next thought, where's the choice in the equation? Where's the free will in the equation? Because every action requires a thought first.
Yeah,
So,
and it's pretty intense to try and break this shit down. It's like, do
Yeah.
we or do we
This is a
not?
bottleneck right there. If you can't get past that point,
It is.
I don't see any other way.
Yep.
I think I'm too stupid to have this conversation.
Well, it's
Again.
it's not that complicated though. It's real simple.
Yeah.
It's like if
Well, it's
you're
one of
not
those things that'll
choosing
drive you
what next
nuts.
thought you get,
It will.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it does. It does.
It's a great
But
way to,
for me, it set me free though to
Did it?
know
What?
that I'm just getting what I'm supposed to get always, so I can love myself and accept myself for who I am, and I can see other people in the same way. And it's
Yeah.
that's the way energy flows when you have when you're not living in truth to the way your actual operating system works on the human body, it creates a resistance. And when you let go of all that resistance, which is attachment that you actually do have control over reality when you really don't, you let go of that, and then energy can flow through you freely because you're letting it.
I like that.
I do too. There's a really good practice with that, and it's very enlightening and forgiving. And then there's another side of me that says, now you're saying that there's no accountability.
That's the I guess there is accountability because actions still happen and there still is consequences to every action, but it's all happening the way it happens. We don't really get a choice.
Yeah,
If we
I like
did,
to
we would
say
be able to think about something to choose from, but we don't.
I like to say that again, we have a small portion of free will, and there's a bigger plan. Otherwise, there's no point in existence if it's already pre-planned.
Well, I do get to think about choices and then make them. You know what I mean? I do get to ponder that, but I can't predict what I'm going to think of 10 seconds from now.
You
You know,
you do though.
well, I
Especially
mean,
when you give
like
yourself time
like
to
Vince said,
formulate it.
I can't predict my next thought, right? If I said think of zins in 10 seconds and then counted down 10 seconds and thought zins, I can do that, right? But I cannot tell you
But that-
what my
but
next
that's-
thought is going to be.
Right.
But-
But that
but we're-
action is a thought that was received originally to manifest another thought.
It does, yeah. But
Right.
also when you speak loose-lipped, which again, as we just reiterated, sometimes get you in some extreme hot water and trouble. But when we're like, I just took a breath, it almost gives you that second to formulate more. But when you're just speaking loose-lipped, this information, I don't know where it's coming from. So, but our conversation allows us to kind of focus on our path of the communication in a sense. So again, I have no idea, and it's a great question to ponder.
Yeah, like I said, nothing has been proven either way when it comes to free will. So it's just as accurate as religion, you know.
And so you don't, Vince, you're saying you don't want free will, right? Because it works better for you.
I'm saying I just want to live into truth as to how I know my brain is operating to me.
Okay. And Eric, do you want to believe in free will, or do you want to not?
I mean, hang on, I'm putting a zin here. I would like to. I mean, I think the way that Vince is putting it
Mm-hmm.
is a good point, right? But it also, at the same time, none of it makes any fucking sense to me.
Right.
So if I don't have a fucking answer.
Because we have
Nobody
choices. and
does.
We make
Yeah.
decisions. You know,
Yeah.
things are.
It's kind of the same concept as when I think of like, does God exist, right? Because if he does, then he had to create something, but then he was here. So then, what was there a time when there was nothing?
Mhm.
And if there was nothing, then what the fuck does nothing look like? Because that would look
Exactly.
like something.
I know it does. It's always been there.
That's
It's too
right.
much
You
for
know?
us to understand.
That's why they say nothing doesn't exist. It's impossible by definition.
It is
Right.
impossible, as well as forever.
So it's like-
impossible.
just one of those things that
It is.
I don't know. I'd almost rather not think about it because it drives me crazy.
Yeah, it does. But also this is the type of shit that sparks amazing songs and artwork and all these
Yeah.
other creative endeavors that when you ponder on these, they're almost childish thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Not to bring any kind of bad juju into it, but like the childish thoughts like that we can come back to are actually some stuff that's totally worth reinvestigating, especially as we've walked our lives and we've forgotten a lot of that training and conditioning.
I
That
know.
maybe
I'm
that's
still
gonna
wondering
spark
why
it.
men.
It's gonna spark something.
I'm still wondering why men have nipples. It just doesn't make sense.
That's what I said. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess we all came out as female. That's what I've
Isn't it
heard.
part of being a mammal? I thought.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
even
think.
my dog, my
Yeah.
Bruce, he's got
Even the
nipples too.
guys.
He's a boy. Like, what the fuck, you know?
Right. I think it's just part of being a mammal because when you're being fertilized or whatever, until a certain point,
Yeah.
there is no, besides like
Gender.
DNA, you can tell what it's gonna be, but like there
Right.
is no like
Gender.
yeah, you're both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
You're a
when the
eunuch
embryo
and both.
is first
you're a
made, it's
hermaphrodite.
when the embryo first is made, it's female until it turns into male. I think I heard somewhere.
Yeah.
I've heard angels are the same thing too. I don't know, but
As nipples.
uh,
Uh,
kind of
I thought
eunuch,
that's what
but
we were talking
also
about. Like, well,
also
they are
also
quite
both. Yeah,
magical.
we're talking
Sound
about
like nipple
nipples.
angel.
Talking about nipples here. It's pleasure for men now. Yeah, we don't need them to milk. It's just pleasure.
And then you point
For
it out
sure.
and you're like, I couldn't be me, not
Yes.
possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And this it's no different. I mean, this is what I deal with on a daily basis.
As nipples?
Uh,
And I always say to people all the time, like, it's hard, right? Because if I can't take a look at myself, then I'm never going to change it. But if I take a look at myself and take accountability for my shit,
actions.
then I
Words.
change it. But if I don't, then it's somebody else's fault, and then I'm like kind of in the clear. If that makes sense, right? Like if it's
taking
something that you
accountability.
did and I'm a victim, then I'm in the clear, and there's nothing wrong with me in my head, right?
Yep.
Because that's what
Yep.
matters. It's what I think of myself. Doesn't really matter what you guys think of me. It matters what I think of myself. But if it was something that you did to me, then I'm a victim, and it's because of something that you did, right? And I don't like the problem there is I don't have any power. I don't have any. You have all the power. You know, not me.
Yeah.
I like having the power.
Well, the thing
Which
is,
is
too,
why I also
like
can't fuck with any drugs anymore.
Multi-tracking. I want the power. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I've
Video
noticed too,
editing,
like,
I want the power.
yeah, I just noticed that too, like, looking at yourself is pretty rough. Dang it, I forgot what I was going to say because you got the power.
Damn it.
Fuck!
That just happened to me too. That sucks. I'm not gonna edit the shit out, but like sometimes you got the brain fart and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You had something awesome and then it just fucking poof. So is that
Well, I
free
think
will?
what
Is
you
that
were
not free
getting at
will?
is how hard it is, because it is. It is hard. It's hard to look at yourself because what does it say? If I
It's
really take a
easier.
good look, say it again?
Like what you said is it's easier to lie to yourself sometimes than it is to
Mhm.
look at yourself, and that's what people do. They've gotten comfortable in just lying and lying and lying, and it's okay because they never have to face that lie. But once you do face that lie, you can actually live a better life and live in your truth.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. If I continuously place the blame, it's easier, man. And and I would argue that it's actually not. We just think it is. It's a lot of work consistently
lot of
doing
work,
that.
yeah.
It's a mental fucking circus.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Both of them are, but yeah.
But once I take accountability for my part in things and like realize that like I have the say, like I might not be able to control what you say and do, but I absolutely have control over how I react to it.
Yep.
And
your
I don't need to
perception of
go
it.
off the deep end with the crazy thoughts. Could you want me to say the shit I told you the other day or yesterday, Sky?
Yeah.
The perfect example of this because I don't do it so much anymore because I've worked on it, right?
Okay.
But in the past, what would be happening is I'd be sitting on my phone playing a game or something, right? And my little one, he's 6
Sure.
now. He was younger then. He would come up and want my attention, right?
Yep.
And I'd get annoyed, and then he'd keep going, and I'd get more annoyed, and then finally I'd be like, "Would you get the fuck away from me?" Right?
Mm.
And then he goes running off screaming, right? So in my head, it goes, "What the fuck was that, Eric? You're a piece of shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? You don't deserve to be a dad." All these things, and it snowballs all the way down to
Kill yourself.
you should go kill yourself.
Yeah.
So
Fucking weird, right?
like, absolute insanity, dude.
It is, yeah.
How did it snowball all the way down, right? Well, I learned that like taking a look at like if you're feeling that way, that's pretty serious,
Mhm.
and taking a real good look at if you're feeling that way, then there's probably some truth to this, right?
Yeah.
So what's the truth here? And it boils down to I can just pay more attention to my kid. I don't have to do that, right? Problem solved. I don't have to, right? So like just taking a look at yourself. I don't like the way that I feel when I snap off at my kids. I don't like the way that I feel when I get angry. I don't like the way that I feel when I do these things. So like I do have an option there, right? And if I don't like myself when I do that, then I have to see that I do that in order to change it, right? Instead of saying, well, it's because they're fucking annoying, you know? And we come up with all sorts of crazy shit. I have to lie to this person because they're sensitive, right? But, well, you lie to them too. What about these people over here? You lie to them.
Yep.
Right? This is an issue for me and it needs to change. Or else I'm just going to keep feeling the same fucking way. I'm going to have the same shit happen over and over again. And it's never going to change.
Yep. I think like we had talked about too when you told me that you have to set up kind of clear boundaries in a sense where maybe they can understand it because they're children or something, or
Sure.
it could be anyone for that matter, but set up some boundaries and try and just place it out there in a way that they might be able to understand. And maybe that's a helpful solution to some of these situations.
Certainly better than snapping off.
Love is the
It
answer,
is.
I think.
Screaming, you know?
Yeah.
So I just when I have moments like that, if I reflect on them, I just like, man, I didn't choose love in that moment. I chose something other than it, you know? So then next time I come back, you know, with people in my life, I've noticed if you just send them a little bit of love, it comes right back to you. You are love in that moment, you know, and the moment becomes love.
Yeah. Yep. It's pretty much acceptance and having the empathy and just sitting back and seeing it from a different perspective. And
if you can in the moment, you know, if you can.
And so Vince,
it's way more complicated than I thought it would be.
It is. Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be pretty complicated.
Well, you can donate to our channel. We'll put the little links in there, as well as we're gonna put some other stuff in there to help people try and find ways to get help and stuff like that too. So
yeah, and if you want to be on the show, feel free to hit us up on in the messages or somehow reach up. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Like I said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're gonna be putting our cash apps down below. Hook us up. We're just trying to help the world be a better place by sharing all the awesome, beautiful people in this world, and we're all here together, man. We got to start living like it, you know.
Yep. Thank you very much, Eric, for coming on the show for the third time. I think third time's a charm. It's like 1, 2, 3, break free. Break the addiction. Fill it with some other awesome addictions that are healthy.
Break the chains,
right?
man.
Break the fucking chains. Yep. Fuck yeah, Fleetwood Mac. All right. Love you guys.
Love you too, brother.
Love you too.